Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know what time of day it is that you're watching this video, but no matter the case, it doesn't matter, because right now we're breaking into the Island of El Dorado. This is a game that I kickstarted a while back, and I actually have the expansion on the way in 2019. It was available for pre-order. There's a good chance that it's not anymore. But this is a tile placement, land discovery exploration game. It's for 2 to 4 players. Should take about 20 minutes per player. So if you're in a 2-player game, you're looking at anywhere from 40 to about 80 minutes total. Ages is for 14 plus, so it's a little bit more of a heavy, complicated game. And here's the game overview. It says, in the Island of El Dorado, you are a brave explorer seeking to discover and control the island's 4 shrines. You'll reveal a unique and challenging landscape every single time the game is played, which will require you to adjust your strategy as you go, managing resources and battling the other explorers. It's a tense and explosive race to control the shrines first. So I'm really excited to get a chance to look at this game. The box feels absolutely amazing. It's nice and sturdy. And just like always, let's go ahead and find a corner to very carefully slice into this. And there we are. This beautiful, it's almost like a satin, silky finish to the top. Very nice. How does this open? There we are. So the front is magnetic, the back lifts up, and look at that. A beautiful piece of art and illustration here on the top. Go ahead and push this back into frame, and let's start off with the rulebook here. The Island of El Dorado, Rulebook. Introduction. The Island of El Dorado. In the Island of El Dorado, each player is the leader of a civilization seeking to explore the island and control its 4 ancient shrines. You'll discover resources, bodies of water, and the shrines themselves in a landscape which is different every single time you play. Build farmhouses and create villagers to gather resources and grow your economy. Occupy strategic locations on the map using forts and armies to defend against the other explorers who seek to control the island before you do. Legend has it the most powerful shrine is hidden inside a cave. But be wary. As you enter, the cave is the most dangerous part of the island. Civilizations will rise and fall as each player explores, gathers, and fights to control the 4 shrines of El Dorado. The first player to control all 4 shrines wins the game. So that's the gameplay overview here. The rulebook has some nice photos, some really nice artwork. It seems fairly simple in terms of its layout. Pretty clear instructions. Now I will have to go through and of course read all of this. A very special thanks to, and here are all of the Kickstarter backers. I wonder if it's even possible for me to find my name on here. Incredibly unlikely. And let's start looking at some of these pieces. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull out, oh no, where do I wanna start? There's a lot going on here. I'll start with these towers here. Everything's in nice little Ziploc bags. Now these are nice, heavy. We have 2 of them. These must be 2 of the shrines. But here we have all the different little character bags. Really nice little drawstring pouches. It'll be able to keep the game organized in a nice way. We have some piles of dice here. Let's see how these feel. Let's give these a test roll. No, they seem in working order, although I'm a little concerned about those low rolls. Some of these dice are interesting. 2s, 1s, and blanks. 2s, 1s, and blanks. Here's some ordinary dice. Now that explains why these rolls are all so low. The highest number on a lot of these dice are 2s and 1s. The dice actually feel, and I know dice are dice, but these dice actually feel really nice. They have a really nice curved edge, a gloss finish. They're inset in a really nice way. They feel good in the hand. They have a nice weight to them. I know, dice are dice. They roll the same way. But anyone that has played a lot of board games knows not all dice are the same. Let's pull out these character tokens here. We have William the Merchant, Hector the Corporal, Pedro the Conquistador, Stella the Adventurer, and Tizok the Gatherer. Now these tiles are really nice. Oh, and we also have Lafayette the Pirate, Victoria the Wealthy, Nicholas the Fortuitous, Belladonna the Commander, Emma the Cartographer. So these tiles are great. The artwork is fantastic. It's got this old style Renaissance look to it. Beautiful oil paintings that, you know, I would say that some of these paintings are things that I would expect to see in a museum of, you know, natural history or a museum of art. They're really quite lovely. I'll set all of these little meeples to the side. Man, this comes with a lot of little towers and objects and characters. And these are all things that we actually were able to unlock during the Kickstarter, and so I'm excited to see them in person. Lastly, I'll pull out this beautiful deck of cards here, fully wrapped. I mean, look at this thing. It's really lovely. The components of this game so far are just very impressive. I'll also stack all of these tiles. And here's another great thing. This beautiful plastic insert here. I know in a lot of my reviews, I have a habit of harping on or always seeming to comment on the type of insert that the board game includes, but that's because for a gamer like myself that wants to keep things nice and organized and orderly, these inserts really do make a significant difference. When you've got so many little pieces and objects, having things that allow you to keep the board game organized and protected not only increase the longevity of the game itself, but they also reduce the amount of time it takes for me to, you know, pull this out and get it to a table. An insert like this reduces that amount of time, and I'm always willing to pay a little bit extra for it. I'll close this beautiful box, have that magnetic latch to it. I'll set the box to the side so we can really get a chance to look at some of these tiles and to look at these meeples here in just a moment. So I'll start by just laying out some of these tiles. They've got El Dorado here inscribed on the back. They're not cut quite as clean as I would like on some of the sides since they're already popped for you, but the artwork is that same oil painting, Renaissance style artwork that we've seen across the game so far. Now we have these really lovely tile pieces which actually have gold trim on the sides. And they're not overly trying to be a map either. I noticed that these tiles, when they're placed, do create a scene and a world and a map, but they do so in almost a painterly way. Everything's a little abstract. It's not as focused on making sure that everything connects in a grid-like pattern like you'd see on a regular map. This is more about the art and the exploration. And so when you flip a tile, you don't see an island with trees and some water in the corner. Instead, you see a castle or you see a shrine. You see a man on a horse kind of rescuing a woman or a big bag of flowers. And these are things that create an atmosphere for the game. And I really like that about it. I like that they didn't lean into a classic art style. Let's look at some of these meeples. Looks like a lady in a dress. We have a warrior. We have a castle or a villa. And there's a separate meeple for each character that you might play in this game. And so this guy is an explorer, conquistador, a man with a backpack and a satchel. We have... That's one thing I love. Each one of these little meeples is entirely custom. A woman on a horse, a man with a trench coat and a long sword. In here we have little figures. It looks like these are your village tokens. Tiny little men. Here we have even more personality. We have a man with a walking cane. And we have, looks like an explorer leveraging himself up onto a cliff or something along those lines. I'm not sure what that one's doing. We have a woman with some binoculars there. And here looks like a Native American or an Indian with a dog. So these are all our character tokens. These are the people we can play as. We also have these little home village meeples, little cabins here, some children, some animals, different custom men and women. Now see these are just little fantastic atmospheric elements. And know a lot of games would have chosen to do the same meeples across the board, but taking the time to actually do custom meeples, it just makes the game a little bit more immersive, a little bit more fun. So lastly, let's break into this beautiful deck. It's kind of a black satin box with really nice artwork around it. Now I haven't seen this deck of cards before, so I don't know what to expect. See, and this is another little going above and beyond, something for me to store my cards in so they're not rotating around. So the cards here have the same black inscription on the back of them. They feel nice, they're not overly textured, and they've got a little bit of a gloss finish. So here they are, and let's see what these cards actually are. So it looks like here we have resources based on different types of locations. And that's going to be true for a variety of different locations here. And that's what these are. So these are 3 different types of cards. We have red, yellow, and green. I'm not sure how they're used in the game. The artwork looks lovely, it's consistent, it matches some of the tiles that we were placing down just a moment ago. And then we have these shrines here, which will exist on different landscapes, and they're the things you're actually exploring and hunting after. So overall, what's my final take on the Island of El Dorado? It's lovely. I'm really excited to be able to dig into this game, but the fact that the producer took the time to make all of these little custom meeples, which were actually rewards during the Kickstarter, to give you a separate card sleeve for the cards, give you a plastic tray insert for all of these beautiful components. One final note that I really want to touch on is, I like that the artist and the creator of this game decided to go with a little bit more of an abstract style of art. I think the pieces look lovely. I think the art across the board is absolutely beautiful. These Renaissance style oil paintings just really bring this game to life and gives it a richness and a texture that is different from the other games that I have on my shelf. Oftentimes I lean towards more of a cartoony, atmospheric style game. This looks like I'm taking a framed painting down off the wall, and the inside of the box looked like it should be in a frame. I'm really excited to sit down and get it to the table and show it off to some friends. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. Like and subscribe if you did. This has been Quackalope. We'll see you next time.